On the Serengeti, every hunt begins with a decision. But just half a second earlier, or a few meters further away, is enough to change the outcome. One misstep, one slip, one strike will fall short of precision. In this place, opportunities usually appear only once. And one day on the savannah is about to prove exactly that. On a dry acacia branch, a martial eagle sits motionless as though carved into the sky. Its sharp eyes sweep slowly across the ground below, missing no movement. At the base of the acacia, the mouth of a rabbit burrow is visible. A rabbit pokes its head out to scent the air, then takes a few steps out to graze, hind legs still angled toward the burrow ready to retreat. The eagle tilts its head and locks onto the target, but the prey is only 2 steps from the burrow entrance and would dive inside before the talons could make contact. Yet the hunter cannot wait. It folds its wings and dives straight down like an arrow, talons extended. But the rabbit hears the wind rushing and springs backward into the burrow. The eagle already knows it has lost the prey. The eagle beats its wings back to the same branch. It tilts its head to look down at the dark burrow entrance where the prey just vanished. A breakfast that slipped from its talons within arm's reach. The eagle missed because it struck half a second too early. Even the Lord of the Sky, with its eyes and speed, can miscalculate by a single moment. Morning sun stretches across the open grassland all the way to the horizon. Beside a bush, a cheetah lies flat, intently watching a gazelle grazing slowly in the distance. To be certain, it needs to close to within 50 meters before accelerating. But across that open expanse, one step too many, and the prey detects it. Losing patience, it bursts from the bush like a bolt of lightning, reaching nearly 100 km/h within 3 strides. But the gazelle has already spotted it and bolts when the cheetah is still halfway there. The cheetah pursues for 10 more seconds, then slows, its body already overheated. When the gazelle disappears beyond a distant rise, it stops in the middle of the grassland and sits panting. This is the paradox of the fastest runner. The harder it sprints, the faster it burns out. One missed lunge is not only a lost meal, but an entire afternoon of recovery. But on the grassland, there is a species that does not need to be the fastest, only the most relentless. At midday, a pack of wild dogs is herding an impala straight toward a marsh. The blazing sun pours down on the grassland beside the marsh. The wild dogs take turns leading the pace. When one tires, another surges forward, relentlessly tracking the impala for more than a kilometer. With skilled sharp turns, the impala continuously changes direction, looking for a gap. But the wild dogs do not let up for a second, pushing it steadily toward the edge of the marsh. The impala does not slow. It drives straight into the water. Each powerful stroke carries it across to the far bank, leaving the entire pack behind. The whole pack pulls up at the water's edge, eyes fixed on the escaped prey. One touches a paw to the mud, then steps back. The duckweed covering the murky surface makes them hesitate. The dog closest to the bank just leans down when the duckweed directly in front of it explodes upward, mud and water spraying everywhere. It leaps sideways in time, barely avoiding the first snap, then turns and scrambles back up the bank. But the mud is slippery and its foot gives way. That is all the crocodile needed. It drives forward with the momentum, clamps onto the dog's hind leg, and drags it back toward the murky water. The wild dog thrashes frantically, tearing free from the crocodile's jaws, and crawls back near the bank. But the predator does not let go. It lunges again, bites onto the dog's neck, and pulls it back. Two dogs on the bank drive in, biting the back and flank of their packmate and hauling it upward. A fierce struggle erupts, but the crocodile is stronger, pulling the animal inch by inch away from the bank. Then every movement seems to stop at once. The dogs on the bank fall silent, eyes fixed on the flat water surface. Suddenly, the wild dog surges upward one final time, summoning every last reserve to tear itself onto the bank. The wild dog barks and bares its teeth in a threat display, forcing the crocodile to retreat into the water. As the stirred mud settles, the truth becomes clear. The dog that just escaped has already lost a leg. The entire pack gathers around the injured one in protection, eyes locked on the water. They do not abandon their packmate, but a member that cannot run cannot last long. Beneath the duckweed, the crocodile silently sinks and swims away. That perfect ambush, in the end, yielded nothing. The prey escaped. On the far side of the marsh, the impala stands and watches across the water. The one that was just chasing it now lies at the water's edge, missing a leg, surrounded by the silent watch of the pack. Then it turns and walks, unhurried, into the wet grass. Only the three-legged one is left behind with its wounds. Its days of hunting have ended here. The wild dog pack still stands close, unwilling to leave. But a pack that does not hunt means a pack that goes hungry, and the midday sun is burning through energy that no one can earn back. The wild dog pack lingers beside their packmate. As the sun tilts toward gold, not far away, a new confrontation is quietly forming in the yellow grass. The lion pride drags its starved bodies across the grassland, bellies sunken after an entire day without a kill. Then they stop. Ahead, a bull buffalo grazes alone, separated from the herd. To the lion pride, this looks like a gift. A large prey, alone, with its head down and its guard lowered. Broad shoulders, curved horns, but no formation to protect it. But that appearance deceives them. A fully grown male buffalo carries nearly a ton of muscle, with horns capable of launching anyone who dares press close. Unaware of this danger, the lion pride quietly spreads out and circles wide to the rear. The afternoon breeze blows against them, masking their scent, each step tightening the encirclement. The lioness from behind springs forward, talons finding grip on the shoulder. But the buffalo reacts instantly. Four legs planted, a powerful sweep of the horns sending the lioness off its back. Without pausing, the buffalo charges directly at the male lion. Nearly a ton driving forward, horns aimed straight. The male leaps aside but does not escape the horn's point. The male lion is wounded in the body. The entire pride now understands this is no easy prey, and one by one, they turn and withdraw, not one of them looking back. The buffalo stands in the middle of the clearing, heaving breath, body lightly wounded, but its horns still bear the marks of the enemy. The shadows of the lions have disappeared entirely. The buffalo has returned to the herd, and the lion pride lies sprawled, licking wounds. The price for misjudging their prey is a day of empty stomachs and battered bodies. But the day has not yet closed. At a bend in the slow-moving river, the final mistake is waiting to be made. The line between life and death is just one step placed in the wrong spot. Beneath the soft mud along the murky riverbank, a Nile crocodile over 5 meters long has been lying in ambush since morning, so motionless that even the current has forgotten its presence. A zebra herd arrives to drink, calmly lowering their muzzles to the water. The one standing closest to the bank is now exactly one stride away from the jaws that have been waiting there for many hours. The crocodile launches upward, mud flying in all directions, jaws opening wide aimed at the front legs of the nearest zebra. But the lunge skids on the soft mud, deflects by a few centimeters. That margin is enough. The herd jolts into panic and bolts from the bank. The crocodile crashes back into the mud, jaws empty, its all-day ambush position now revealed. It settles back into the mud, watching the bank empty. It will have to wait many more hours until another herd forgets the danger and returns to drink at this exact spot. As the sun drops low, the grassland gradually returns to quiet. 5 hunts took place today, and strangely, all 5 hunters ended the day with empty bellies. Each prey survived in its own way, one through speed, one through its horns, one through the water, one through the herd. The only thing they had in common, none of them made a fatal mistake. And every hunter that failed did so for the same single reason. One moment of impatience, one foot placed in the wrong spot, one target chosen in error. On this grassland, that is all it takes. The savanna softens, traces fade. Today belonged to the hunted, because every hunter made exactly one mistake, and one mistake is enough. But tomorrow, the sun will rise. The hunters will stalk again. The prey will run again. And the grassland will again wait to see who makes the first mistake. The African savanna spreads beneath the vast sky, land of giants, where strength is usually measured in tons. But strength in nature isn't only measured by size. There's another law, more subtle. It's the ratio between strength and body weight. When lowering vision to the arid grass carpets, where tiny creatures possess strength far beyond any ordinary comparison. This is the story about strength in nature. Not about the largest, but about creatures that found ways to maximize every gram of their body. On a fresh buffalo dung pile, a small creature is working. Dung beetle, Scarabaeus sacer, only 3 centimeters long and weighing 2 grams. The dung beetle is doing something seemingly impossible. They're shaping and rolling a dung ball weighing 200 grams, 100 times their body weight. But this isn't the limit yet. In scientific experiments, dung beetles have pulled objects weighing 1,141 times their body weight. To visualize, this equals a person weighing 70 kilograms lifting 80 tons, nearly equal to a modern tank. The secret lies in body structure. Dung beetles have hard exoskeletons made from chitin. Muscles inside attach directly to the shell, creating an extremely efficient lever system. Not far away, a long line moves on the ground. Leafcutter ants, Atacephalotes, each individual weighing only a few milligrams, but carrying leaf pieces many times larger than their body. Leafcutter ants can carry objects 50 times their body weight, moving vertically and gripping firmly on all surfaces, even smooth ceilings. The ant's secret lies in special neck muscles. This muscle occupies nearly half the body mass and can withstand tremendous pressure without injury. The reason small creatures are disproportionately strong is due to physical laws. When size decreases, surface area decreases slower than volume and mass. This helps small muscles have a large contact area ratio relative to the mass-needing movement, creating advantages no giant creature can achieve. But when we talk about absolute strength, the rules change completely. Near the riverbank, a giant creature steps out from acacia bushes. African elephant, Loxodonta africana. Adult males can weigh up to 6 tons. This is the largest land animal still existing on the planet. The elephant trunk is nature's most versatile tool. Made from over 40,000 separate muscle bundles, no bones, completely muscle and tendon. The trunk alone can lift objects weighing 350 kilograms, while their whole body can pull and push masses up to 6,000 kilograms. In exchange for enormous strength, elephants must consume nearly 150 kilograms of food daily and spend about 18 hours continuously just eating. Not far away, white rhinoceros Ceratotherium simum appears. Males weighing over 2 tons, possessing horns up to 1.5 meters long, full of power. Thanks to extremely developed neck muscles, rhinos can lift and fling objects weighing over 1 ton, turning the horn into a terrifying attack weapon. But there's one species whose strength isn't measured by lifting ability. It's measured by pressure. In murky river water, a pair of eyes looks up. Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, up to 6 meters long, has existed through 200 million years of evolution, nearly unchanged, proof of perfect design. Their weapon is the jaw. Nile crocodile bite force reaches 5,000 psi, world's strongest, far exceeding human bite force. When attacking, crocodile jaw-closing muscles contract with tremendous strength, enough to crush buffalo bones or hold tight until drowning. Ironically, crocodile jaw-opening muscles are very weak, to the extent an adult human can hold their mouth shut with bare hands. Evolution only invested energy in closing jaws, not opening them, showing natural strength always optimizes according to survival objectives. Every strength has its own price. Elephants need to eat large quantities. Crocodiles lie motionless, conserving energy. Tiny dung beetles get crushed. Each species found its own position in the ecosystem. From dung beetles recycling waste, ants building complex nests, to elephants opening paths, crocodiles controlling fish populations. In 2026, these species face harsh challenges from climate change, habitat loss, and illegal hunting. Facing that reality, conservation efforts are being intensified with expanded reserves and tightened laws when people realize limits. Strength doesn't lie in conquering nature, but in understanding and respect when each species, large or small, all have irreplaceable roles. East African savanna. Early morning. Mist clings to grass tips. Beneath a flat rock near a shrub, something begins to stir in the darkness. This is a land where every creature carries a weapon. Fangs, claws, speed, mass, and sometimes the smallest weapon is the most dangerous. And among all venomous species in Africa, there's one that even lions cannot completely ignore when they appear on the same ground. This is the story of two species. One dominates through strength and numbers. One dominates through speed and venom. And what happens when they meet? Black mamba, Africa's largest venomous snake and the world's fastest snake. Average length 2.5 to 4.5 meters. The name black mamba doesn't come from scale color. Their scales are actually grayish-green to olive brown. The name comes from the pitch black color inside the mouth, which they display when threatened. Black mamba movement speed reaches 19 to 20 kilometers per hour on the ground. This is the highest speed of any snake species on the planet. Black mamba venom is a mixture of neurotoxins and cardiotoxins, attacking both nervous and cardiovascular systems simultaneously, with a mortality rate near 100% within 7 to 15 hours. In a single bite, a black mamba can inject 100 to 400 milligrams of venom, while the lethal dose requires only about 10 to 15 milligrams. Black mambas don't actively hunt large animals. They eat mainly rats, small birds, and lizards. However, when threatened, they don't flee, but face threats directly. When cornered, a black mamba raises the front third of its body off the ground, opens its mouth, displaying the black interior. This is the final warning before attack. In a confrontation, black mambas can bite repeatedly multiple times rather than just once before retreating. This is a distinct difference from many other venomous snakes. Black mambas inhabit open ground, sparse shrubland, and forest edges, also where lions often rest during the day, causing the two species' territories to naturally overlap. Lions don't actively seek snakes. However, the two species still encounter each other because they share living space. One misplaced step, a snake awakened, and that's enough. Midday, a lion lies resting beside an acacia trunk, less than 2 meters away. A black mamba emerges from a rock crevice to bask in the sun. The lion stands. This isn't fear, but a snake avoidance reflex deeply embedded in the nervous systems of many large mammals. The black mamba raises its head, displays its black mouth. body coiled lightly behind the head, ready. It doesn't slither away. It stands its ground, appearing much larger. The lion stands still, observing, not advancing, not retreating. In lion prides, the mamba is a species that young ones learn to avoid very early. After a few minutes, the black mamba begins slithering in another direction, not hurried, not panicked, simply choosing to leave on its own terms. The lion doesn't pursue or attack. In nature, a confrontation ending without casualties is the optimal outcome for both. But not every encounter ends in silence. When inexperienced young lions curiously approach black mambas, that's another danger. Lion cubs don't yet understand the black mamba's warning signals. They advance step by step, crossing the safety threshold without realizing the risk. The mother lioness detects this in time and rushes over, using her body to push the cub out of striking range before the mamba can react. Facing an adult lion, the black mamba changes its decision. It retreats, then slithers quickly into nearby bushes. Danger temporarily passes. But there's another species in Africa that doesn't view the black mamba with cautious or avoidant eyes. The honey badger, the world's most fearless animal. Honey badgers stand only about 11 inches tall, roughly 2.5 feet long, and weigh around 35 pounds. But their back skin is 6 millimeters thick and tough enough to resist snake fangs. Honey badger immune systems can resist venom from many snake species, including some cobras. With black mambas, the level of venom resistance is still being studied. The black mamba detects the honey badger when the distance is about 4 meters. It raises its head, displays its black mouth, and hisses a warning. The honey badger continues approaching. The honey badger closes in. The mamba strikes the shoulder on the first attempt. This amount of venom is enough to kill a goat within minutes. The honey badger jerks, staggers, then collapses. The black mamba slithers away. This is natural response after biting. Venom will do the rest. But with honey badgers, the story doesn't end there. About 20 to 30 minutes later, the honey badger begins to move, slowly at first, then faster. It stands up, shakes its head, and continues moving in the direction the mamba left. This behavior has been documented many times in South Africa and Kenya. Honey badgers recover from black mamba venom, then continue pursuing the snake by hunting instinct. The black mamba has moved over 100 meters and lies resting under low shrubs. When it detects the honey badger still approaching, the situation becomes unusual for it. The mamba bites a second time when the honey badger closes in, this time hitting the neck area. The honey badger falls again. The snake immediately climbs a nearby low tree. This time, the honey badger takes longer to recover, but eventually stands after about 45 minutes and looks up to where the mamba is hiding. The mamba leaves the tree and slithers faster than before. This is the true speed of the world's fastest snake when deciding to retreat. Distance gradually increases. The honey badger can't catch up. It stops, sniffs the air, then turns in another direction. No clear winner. Both still alive and continuing their day. Very few species can endure 2 black mamba bites, fall twice, and still stand up. The honey badger doesn't win, but the mamba can't defeat it either. The question isn't whether the black mamba can win. The issue is what victory means when neither needs to destroy the other to continue existing. In nature, a victory has only one definition. Still alive the next day? Today, both black mamba and honey badger meet that criterion. Black mambas are distributed across over 20 sub-Saharan African countries. They're not yet critically endangered, but habitat loss and killing out of fear are shrinking their range. In most encounters between humans and black mambas, snakes choose to escape first. They only attack when there's no escape route. Lions know to avoid mambas. Honey badgers know how to cope. Both accumulate experience over generations of coexistence, contributing to maintaining natural balance. Black mambas don't need to defeat lions. They only need to be respected enough not to be stepped on. Over millions of years of evolution, that rule has been effectively established. Evening descends on the savanna. The black mamba slithers back to its familiar resting spot beneath the flat rock where it left this morning. The circle of one day closes. In darkness beneath the rock, the mamba coils. Body temperature drops with the surrounding ground. Nervous system gradually shifting to resting state, awaiting the light of a new day. Black mambas aren't Africa's most dangerous species by actual statistics. Crocodiles, hippos, and even mosquitoes cause more deaths each year. Venom isn't a tool of conquest, but a means of survival. For millions of years, it's helped mambas exist alongside the king of the grasslands. And that is enough. The early morning mist blankets the Masai Mara Valley, turning everything into silent, drifting shadows. The sun has not yet risen, but the savanna has already begun to stir. The call of a hornbill rings out, followed by the chorus of insects layering one upon another like a familiar symphony every morning. The savanna is shifting before the dawn. The ground begins to vibrate faintly. From the other side of the valley, a massive dark mass appears. A herd of African buffalo moving slowly through the early morning mist. Among the forest of legs and horns, calves are struggling to keep pace with the herd. Born less than a week ago, they are fragile, yet always kept within the fold. The African buffalo is the largest wild bovine on the continent. A fully grown adult can weigh up to 900 kilograms, and the fused horns at the top of the head form a hard shield, making them a formidable opponent. They live in large herds of several dozen to several hundred, constantly on the move in search of grass and water. The strength of a buffalo herd together is nearly impenetrable. But newborn calves are the weakest link, weighing less than 40 kilograms. Their legs still tremble when running, and entirely dependent on their mother's milk. They are the perfect prey for every predator. In the first weeks of life, African buffalo calves face an extremely high mortality rate. Predators such as lions, hyenas, and leopards are always lurking. For that reason, the mother buffalo rarely leaves the calf's side. She always positions herself between the calf and the outer edge of the herd, constantly looking back to check. This morning, the herd is heading toward the Mara River to drink. It is a familiar journey, but never a safe one, especially for the calves. And the buffalo herd is not the only group moving toward the river this morning. On the high ridge to the east, rounded ears are pricked upright, and amber eyes are tracking every step of the herd. A pride of lions has been lying low in the tall grass, watching the buffalo since before sunrise. To understand the tactic, one must know that lions rarely attack adult buffalo if a better option exists. Their target is always the weakest individual in the herd. The lion is the only big cat that hunts in groups. When facing African buffalo, they create panic to fracture the herd, then isolate any calf that falls behind. The jaws and claws of a lion can bring down prey, but the horns of a buffalo can also pierce a lion's abdomen in a single charge. This is a game where both sides can pay with their lives. The pride splits into two directions. One group swings left, another holds the right, while those at the rear stand ready to press in and drive the prey herd into a position where it can be pursued. The buffalo herd continues grazing calmly, unaware of the danger, but an old bull standing at the edge of the herd suddenly raises his head. His nose has caught something on the wind. He lets out a sharp snort, a first-level warning signal. A few nearby individuals raise their heads, but not enough to trigger a full herd response. And the lions understand that the window of opportunity is closing. The lion pride launches its attack. Four subadults charge straight into the edge of the buffalo herd with a thunderous roar. The goal is not to kill, but to create chaos. The buffalo herd erupts in panic. Hundreds of animals surge forward, hooves pounding the earth like rolling thunder. Red dust rises in thick clouds, obscuring everything from sight. In the midst of the chaos, a small calf is left behind. Two lionesses break from opposite sides. One lioness seizes the calf's hindquarters and drags it down. The other leaps onto its back and pins it. A piercing cry rings out, not only from pain, but as a distress call. The mother buffalo turns back first. She charges against the flow of the fleeing herd, horns lowered, eyes blazing red, alone. She drives straight into the lioness, pinning her calf to the ground. The first charge hurls one lioness off. The other is forced to release the calf and back away. The mother buffalo stands in front of her calf, breathing hard, full of menace. Then the ground begins to shake, not from the footsteps of lions, but from the direction of the herd. The distress call has reached exactly where it needed to. Dozens of adult buffalo are turning back, and they are not moving slowly. The herd descends like a flood. 20, 30, then 40 individuals form a line, horns lowered, turning the grassland into an unstoppable force. The lion pride immediately recognizes that the situation has reversed. From attackers, they have become the targets of the buffalo herd. The herd encircles the area. They form a ring around the mother and calf, horns pointing outward in every direction, creating a defensive wall with no gaps. The lioness is sent rolling, lying there panting. She is not badly injured, but hurt enough to understand that the hunt is over. The lion pride retreats one by one. They walk slowly, maintaining a composed appearance. But in reality, they have lost all control of the situation. Today, the feast does not belong to them. The buffalo herd holds its formation for a few more minutes. This caution is the product of millions of years of evolution, only breaking position when safety is certain. The mother buffalo lowers her head and licks the scrapes on her calf's body. When the danger has passed, the African buffalo herd continues its journey toward the Masai Mara. The calf is placed at the center, surrounded by multiple adults. The entire herd slows its pace to match the short steps of the young one. That is the price of protection, sacrificing speed to keep every member whole. In the distance, the lion pride rests in the shade of a tree. They will return tomorrow, for the cycle of hunting never stops. On the Masai Mara Savannah, there is no permanent victory. There is only a survival repeated day after day between predator and prey. Research shows that buffalo calves in large herds have survival rates 3 times higher than those in small herds. When the herd is large enough, lions have almost no chance of success. But climate change and habitat loss are fragmenting buffalo herds. The smaller the herd, the weaker the collective strength, and the more vulnerable the calves become. Every calf that survives today will grow up to become part of the protective wall tomorrow. The cycle of protection continues through each generation. That is how the African buffalo has endured for millions of years. The herd reaches the riverbank. Cool water flows around their legs, and the calf cautiously steps to the water's edge for the first time, while the mother stands close beside it, not moving an inch away. Today, the riverbank is quiet. The calf has drunk its fill. It has just survived the most dangerous day of its early life. As the evening light paints the Masai Mara red, the African buffalo herd begins moving back toward the tall grass. Hundreds of individuals walk in the same rhythm, forming a moving, living wall. The calf tucks itself against its mother's flank within the embrace of the herd. In nature, no creature is strong enough to survive alone. And sometimes, the most resilient line of defense is built not from individual strength, but from the presence of an entire community. Afternoon sunlight illuminates the Serengeti grasslands. Dry grass glows golden under temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius, a typical day in the heart of Africa. Here, every meal must be contested. Predator and prey, robber and robbed. The line between success and failure is very fragile. Two predator species are about to collide. One side is a warrior with deadly weapons. One side is an opportunistic thief. Who will claim victory? This is the story of an unexpected encounter. When a plan to steal prey becomes a battle to the death. When instinct decides survival. The secretary bird is one of Africa's most unique birds of prey. They stand over 1 meter tall and have a wingspan of nearly 2 meters. The name comes from the black feathers behind the head, resembling quill pens tucked behind a secretary's ear in olden times. But this bird is anything but gentle. They hunt snakes, large lizards, rodents, insects, but venomous snakes are their favorite. They have a unique hunting technique: kick prey to death. Long legs, sharp curved talons, specially developed leg muscles. A kick can generate force of nearly 20 kilograms, enough to crush the bones of venomous snakes. Serval, also called grassland wildcat, smaller than spotted leopards but larger than house cats. They weigh about 9 to 18 kilograms. The largest ears in the cat family relative to body size, superhuman hearing, can hear mice moving underground. Long legs, highest leg-to-body ratio in the cat family. It can jump up to 3 meters high and achieves a hunting success rate of about 50%. But today, the serval isn't hunting. It's seeking opportunity, stealing prey from others, conserving energy, increasing survival efficiency. The secretary bird has just found a snake, puff adder, venomous, dangerous, but to the secretary bird, this is a good meal. The snake rears its head, opens its mouth threateningly, ready to inject venom. But the secretary bird has faced such situations countless times. A kick shoots out lightning fast, precise, strikes the snake's head directly. It writhes violently, but isn't dead yet. Another kick, then another. The snake lies motionless. The secretary bird bends down to check the prey. Victory is clear, but in the grass, another is watching silently. The serval presses itself flat to the ground. It moves slowly, each step separated by several seconds. No sound. Every movement is calculated. It weighs options quickly. The bird is taller, heavier, and has extremely powerful legs. But that fat snake is a valuable protein source. It steps slowly forward, not to hunt the bird, but to steal the prey, a familiar tactic of an opportunistic hunter. The secretary bird reacts immediately. Defensive instinct flares. It clamps the snake tightly in its beak and won't let go. This prey belongs to it. It spreads its wings nearly 2 meters wide, creating a large visual wall. The goal is to make the cat back down, a familiar defensive tactic. The serval backs away a few steps, but doesn't leave. It circles slowly, eyes still locked on target, patiently waiting for a moment of vulnerability. It lunges again, testing the bird's powerful legs. Claws touch wing feathers, but still not enough to steal the snake. The snake falls to the ground, but the conflict has now gone beyond food. No longer a dispute over prey. This is a battle. The secretary bird unleashes the first kick, lightning fast. Nearly 20 kilograms of force in an instant, misses the cat's head by just a few centimeters. The serval dodges quickly, reflexes of a born hunter. It lunges, trying to bite the bird's knee joint to neutralize the dangerous legs. The bird jumps back. Second kick hits the cat's shoulder. Not strong enough to cause serious injury, but enough to cause pain. An accurate kick could shatter the serval's jaw, ending its hunting ability forever. Therefore, the cat must strike very fast and precisely. The serval lunges again, this time lowering its body. It pounces on the secretary bird's chest area. Claws dig deep, pulling the bird down. The secretary bird struggles violently. Wings beat on hard, creating wind currents that send dust flying. It tries to kick, but the serval has latched too close for the strike to be effective. The battle lasts about 3 minutes, consuming enormous metabolic energy. Both are breathing heavily, but neither side will let go. The serval changes tactics. It seeks the bird's neck position. This is the cat family's familiar killing technique, the suffocating bite. The secretary bird senses danger. It struggles to escape, but the cat's weight presses heavily. Wings no longer have space to swing. The serval seizes the bird's neck. Fangs sink deep, not piercing completely, but clamping tight. The goal is to cut off oxygen. Time decides life and death. The bird lies on the ground, wings spread wide on the dry earth. It's still alive, but no longer has strength to continue fighting. The cat still holds the bird's neck tight. It doesn't loosen. The struggling weakens with each second, each breath, until the body is motionless. After about 5 minutes, all movement ceases. The warrior has fallen. The opportunist wins, not through strength, but through tactics. The serval releases the bird. It's exhausted. Victory has come, but the price is very high. Energy expended equivalent to many days of normal hunting. It doesn't eat the bird. Instead, it drags out the snake, the original meal, the reason for the conflict. It eats hurriedly before others appear. 15 minutes later, vultures land. They clean up what remains. Here, nothing is wasted. The cycle continues. Prey stealing is common behavior in Africa. Hyenas steal from leopards. Lions steal leopard kills. Survival becomes more difficult. But this behavior is full of risk. About half the time, the thief gets injured, 1/5 end in death. The price to pay is very high. Climate change makes food sources scarcer. Competition increases. Prey theft occurs more frequently. Mortality rates also rise. Both servals and secretary birds are species that need conservation. Their numbers are declining as habitats increasingly shrink. As the sun sets over the Serengeti, the grassland gradually quiets again. The cat has left. Vultures have flown away. Only traces of battle remain on the sand. In the harsh reality of the African bush, the line between hunter and prey is always fragile. The thief can become the executioner. No heroes, no villains, only creatures trying to survive by any means and any tactics possible. And in the silence of the Serengeti night, one law still silently operates. Nature doesn't judge. Nature only selects. The wiser one, the luckier one, the one still alive. The Kalahari Desert awakens with dawn. Temperature rises rapidly from 15 to 30 degrees. A new day begins with survival challenges. Here, every creature has its own story. A story of survival, of memory, of decisions that can change fate. Today, an encounter will unfold between predator and defensive army, between individual strength and collective tactics. Who will claim victory? This is the story of Ravager, an experienced hyena, and a meerkat colony that refuses to surrender. When instinct collides with strategy, Ravager weighs 72 kilograms. The strongest jaws among African carnivores can crush bones. It hunted successfully here 3 months ago. The memory of an easy meal remains vivid. Today, it returns with confidence in victory. But Ravager doesn't know. 3 months is a long time. The meerkat colony has changed. They learned their lesson. They're no longer easy prey. Meerkats, each individual weighs about 1 kilogram, but a colony of 50 creates astonishing collective strength. They live in a complex social system, clear division of labor, sentries, hunters, babysitters, and today, all are warriors. Morning. Ravager appears on the sand dune, looks down at the colony. The meerkat sentry detects immediately. A warning call rings out. But the colony doesn't run, doesn't panic, doesn't scatter. They gather together, form ranks, a living wall of 50 individuals. Ravager stops, surprised that the meerkat colony isn't fleeing like last time. It assesses the situation, but hunger drives it to attack. It steps down slowly, displaying strength and opening its mouth to reveal teeth as a threat. But the meerkat colony stands firm, doesn't back down. Distance only 10 meters remaining. Ravager suddenly accelerates, charging straight at the colony with familiar tactics, break formation and isolate the weakest individual. But the formation doesn't break. They move in sync. The entire colony remains a unified mass. The predator is confused by collective tactics never seen before. Ravager changes tactics. It charges straight into the center of formation, tries to catch an isolated individual, but meerkats are too fast. Always another individual immediately provides cover. Suddenly, the meerkat colony counterattacks, not fleeing as usual. They attack the predator's legs, bite quickly, then immediately withdraw. Ravager flinches in pain. It turns to retaliate, but the meerkat has retreated. Another individual attacks from behind. Then another continues. This is the tactic of numbers. No individual fights alone. When one attacks, another rests. The rotation like the heartbeat of a shared body. Finally, Ravager catches a meerkat. It bites tight, then shakes hard. A short cry rings out, then fades. The price of collective tactics. But the predator has no time to eat. More than 10 meerkats charge at once, biting legs, belly, ears, like living needles stabbing the giant. Ravager spins wildly. It tries to shake off the small bodies clinging tight, but claws dig deep into skin, while tiny teeth continue biting ceaselessly. In seconds, 2 meerkats are caught, but each small victory consumes energy, while the entire colony remains numerous. 5 minutes of fighting. Ravager begins tiring. Breathing becomes heavy. Steps slow down. Small bites accumulate gradually, silently eroding strength. Meerkats don't stop. They sense the change. The predator is weakening. They intensify attacks. Stronger, faster, more ferocious. Ravager tries to back away, retreat toward the hill, but they follow closely, biting hind legs. Small bites make its steps become limping. After 10 minutes, the hunt reverses. Ravager backs against a boulder to defend, like an exhausted warrior, raising a final shield before the small storm. It roars again, the hoarse sound echoing across the grassland. A final effort to threaten, but the meerkats have seen blood. Fear disappears. In a final surge of adrenaline, the predator breaks out of the encirclement. It kills 3 in succession. A brief gap opens in the sea of small bodies. 5 meerkats lie motionless, the price of victory, but the remaining 45 stand firm, continue attacking like a living wall. Ravager recognizes harsh truth. This is no longer a hunt. This is an unwinnable battle where numbers have overwhelmed individual strength. It turns and flees, no longer a mighty hunter, but a wounded creature in retreat. The meerkat colony chases for 50 meters to ensure safety. Ravager disappears behind the sand dune. Dust flies thick behind. Blood seeps from many small bites, while the hind leg limps as a mark of defeat. Meerkats stop, then return to the colony. No more pursuit. The message is clear enough. This land is not for solitary predators. The entire colony stands upright, calls out. Victory cries echo across the desert. 5 have sacrificed, but 45 survive. They look at fallen comrades. The entire colony falls silent, but thanks to everyone's unity, they've repelled the enemy. Victory isn't perfect, but it's still victory. The first time this colony has repelled an adult hyena. In following days, Ravager doesn't return. Wounds gradually heal, but the memory of battle remains. It seeks other hunting grounds, less risky. Meerkats' collective defense tactics are one of nature's greatest wonders. Their strength lies not in muscle, but in unity. But not every herd is so fortunate. When the numbers fall below 30 individuals, the defensive system weakens. At that point, a single hyena can still make a successful kill. Climate change affects both species. Prolonged dry seasons make food scarce, causing meerkats to birth fewer young, while hyenas must expand hunting territories. Both are important species in the ecosystem. Meerkats control insects. Hyenas clean up carcasses as nature's silent gatekeepers. Scientists are studying collective defense behavior, viewing it as a biological model, helping understand how small species survive under predator pressure. When the sun sets, the meerkat colony returns to burrows. Tired but safe, they lie close together, sleeping, like small coals, keeping warm through unity. Elsewhere, Ravager walks alone, legs still wounded, carrying the costly lesson of a solitary predator. In the silence of the Kalahari Desert, 2 lessons are rewritten. For Ravager, no prey is truly easy. For meerkats, unity is the strongest weapon. Nature doesn't distinguish large or small, strong or weak. It only distinguishes who survives. And sometimes, survival doesn't come from individual strength, but from the strength of the collective, from faith in teammates, from silent sacrifice. That's the lesson the tiny meerkat colony has carved into the desert. Through the still water blanketing the surface of the marsh, where the light of dawn barely touches a few inches of the waterline, a sound of heavy breathing rises from the reeds. It is not the sound of fish breaking the surface, nor the wind moving through the grass. It is the breath of a creature, watching your every move. Okavango does not welcome you. It tests you, and whoever hesitates will not have time to understand where they went wrong. Welcome to Okavango, not a river, not a lake. This is a survival machine powered by floodwater, sunlight, and blood. A place where every flood season is a rebirth, and every nightfall is a survival contest that no one is allowed to lose. Here, humans, are only observers. No privileges, no protection. Only the naked truth of nature. Before going deeper into this journey, if you carry within you the fire of the wild, subscribe now so you never miss a thing. Because what lies ahead is not a sightseeing tour. This is a survival challenge in the heart of Africa's greatest flood delta. If Okavango has a king, it is not the species that swims the fastest. It is the species that dares to wade through deep water to claim the right to rule. With a body weighing over 200 kilograms and a jaw force exceeding 300 kilograms, the lions of Okavango bring down a water buffalo like a giant vice, clamping shut and never letting go. But their true strength is not in the strike. They are population controllers that help maintain the balance between the buffalo herds and the vegetation across the entire delta. In Okavango, lions do not hunt in the usual way. They ambush from floating grass islands. Each move forward a silent chess game. The pride splits into groups. One side creates noise to herd the prey. The other lies waiting in silence. This tactic has been passed down through generations of Okavango lion prides. But this land is shrinking. Poaching and agricultural fencing fragment territories. Lion prides grow smaller and no longer carry enough genetic diversity to survive. The lions of Okavango, who have learned to live with water, are now learning to live with a threat they cannot hunt: the disappearance of their own home. Okavango draws a long breath, and in the distance, another call begins to rise. If the lion is the king of strength, then the African wild dog is the genius of the collective, the only species that wins through discipline, not muscle. Weighing only 25 kilograms, yet with a hunting success rate of up to 80%, higher than both lions and leopards. Their weapon is not fang and claw, but perfect coordination requiring no language. They are the engine of the ecosystem. Each hunt moves the prey herds, creating a cycle of rotation that allows the grasslands of Okavango to recover and spread. Before a hunt, the entire pack performs a ritual. They lick each other's faces, heads touching heads, not out of affection, but as a combat ceremony. After that, no one leaves anyone behind. They share food first with the young and the sick, the only species in Okavango that places care for others above its own needs. Fewer than 6,600 individuals remain across all of Africa. Rabies, from domestic dogs, farmers' snares, and habitat loss, are wiping out the continent's most skilled hunters. Every wild dog pack is a miniature society. When a pack disappears, it is not just animals that are lost. An entire culture of hunting built across generations is lost with them. Night falls over Okavango, and beneath the water, something older, colder, begins to move. If the lion is king on land, and the wild dog is the master tactician, then the crocodile is the primal darkness of Okavango, the species that witnessed the extinction of the dinosaurs and is still here. The crocodile's jaws generate a bite force exceeding 1,700 kilograms, more than any living creature on Earth. A single roll of the body underwater tears apart anything in just 3 seconds. But the crocodile is not only a destroyer, they are natural canal diggers. Their sleeping hollows create water pools that help hundreds of species survive through the dry season. Crocodiles do not give chase. They wait, sometimes for hours, even days, until the prey steps close enough that no escape remains. When they strike, there is no warning, no running start, only the water breaking open for one beat, and everything is already over. Despite existing for over 200 million years, the crocodiles of Okavango are losing their habitat. Water pollution and agricultural land conversion are shrinking the living space of the oldest surviving reptile on Earth. A species that has survived 5 mass extinctions now faces a threat that no evolution can defend against: human indifference. The water surface goes flat again, but just nearby, a heavier breath, a larger body, begins to rise. But the story does not stop with predators. As we leave the shallows, another world begins to reveal itself. The world of the giants that lie beneath the surface. This is the deep water of Okavango, where light does not reach the bottom, and anyone who enters cannot determine where they stand in the food chain. The floodwater does not only bring fish and plants, it brings the hippopotamus, a species weighing 4 tons, the most aggressive and most important creature in the entire delta ecosystem. If the crocodile is the silent darkness, then the hippopotamus is a moving storm. And the next part of this journey will take us straight into the eye of that storm. The hippo does not need to hunt to become the most dangerous creature in Okavango. It is dangerous simply because it exists, and no species is allowed to forget that. Weighing over 4 tons, capable of running at 30 kilometers per hour on land, jaws that open to 180 degrees. Hippos kill more people in Africa than any other large animal, including lions. But the hippo is a nutrient pump. Every day they deposit hundreds of kilograms of organic matter into Okavango, feeding the algae, feeding the fish, and sustaining the entire food chain below. Male hippos mark territory by spinning their tails and spraying dung, the clearest and most undeniable boundary language Okavango has ever known. When territory is violated, there is no negotiation. 2 males crash into each other, jaw against jaw, the sound of impact splitting the air until one submits or flees. But hippos are disappearing. Prolonged drought, declining flood levels, and ivory poaching are pushing this species toward the endangered list. An Okavango without hippos would be a dead river. Newborn hippo calves need clean water to breathe. When the water is polluted, when flood levels no longer rise high enough, the survival rate of the next generation drops to catastrophic levels. The water rises, the water recedes, and in that cycle, nothing is permanent. Every strength has its limit. Every territory has its end. Here, speed no longer matters. Strength no longer matters. The survivor is the one who can read Okavango, knowing when to be still, when to strike, when to step back. Tonight, the lions have cornered a buffalo herd at the water's edge. The crocodiles are waiting below. The wild dogs stand at the rim of the darkness, and the hippos do not care about any of them. A sound. The buffalo herd breaks in every direction. Water explodes upward, and in that chaos, Okavango takes its share, as it has done for millions of years. The loser of tonight will vanish without a trace. Only the ripple of water spreading outward, and the silence of Okavango answers everything. Everything you have just witnessed is not a collection of separate stories. Okavango is a living organism, and every species is an irreplaceable cell within it. Lions control the buffalo herds. Wild dogs distribute prey across the territory. Crocodiles dig canals. Hippos nourish the water. Switch off one, and the entire system will tilt. Okavango does not exist because of floodwater. It exists because of balance. A balance rewritten over millions of years, now being erased in just a few centuries. And when one link disappears, it is not just one species that is lost. It is an entire ecological symphony that has never been written before and will never be written again. But the most dangerous creature in Okavango is not the lion, not the crocodile, not the hippo. It is us, the only species that destroys without needing to be hungry. Hydroelectric systems upstream are regulating the flow. Less floodwater means less grassland, fewer fish, less life, diminishing at every level, multiplying downward. Poaching does not only kill animals, it shatters social structures. Lion prides lose their leaders, wild dog packs lose their memory, hippos lose their guide generation. And the price to be paid is not only nature's to bear. When Okavango dies, the millions of people who depend on its water and tourism will lose everything. When the lion's roar fades into the night, when the wild dog pack disappears behind the curtain of grass, when the water surface returns to calm as though nothing ever happened. The question that remains is not, what have we discovered? It is, do we have enough time to change? Before the answer becomes a permanent silence. What will we have left when Okavango no longer floods? When the greatest survival machine in Africa finally runs out of fuel? Okavango is still here, still flowing, still alive. But for how long depends on the answer we choose to give today. If this journey has made you shudder, left you unsettled, or simply made it impossible to look at Okavango the same way again, leave a comment below. And until next time, at the next brutal survival arenas, where nature does not ask if you are ready, the dry season arrives. The Serengeti grassland falls silent in a different way, not empty, but the kind of silence before something great begins. Hundreds of thousands of zebras are moving southward. This is the greatest migration on Earth, and not one of them is allowed to stop. Among the herd, calves just a few weeks old move along. Their striped coats still soft, their legs still unsteady. They do not yet know they are on their way to their first test. Ahead lies the Mara River, the natural boundary that every animal in the herd must cross. There is no other path. There is no second option. The zebra is Africa's largest seasonal migrant, traveling thousands of kilometers each year in search of new, nutrient-rich grasslands. A foal must stand within 30 minutes of being born, not a miracle. It is the bare minimum required to survive in this ecosystem. It stays close to its mother with every step, a behavior known as shadowing. For the foal, its mother is not just protection, but direction, the entirety of its world. But it has never crossed a river, never faced rushing water, never felt the pull of an invisible current. What lies ahead is a completely new experience. The zebra herd halts at the riverbank. Thousands of individuals stand still, a rare moment in nature when the fastest running species hesitates before a body of water. The Mara River is not wide, but width is not the danger here. The danger lies beneath the surface of the murky red-brown water surging past. Below the surface, Nile crocodiles have been waiting since before the zebra herd arrived. They do not rely on speed, they rely on patience. A fully grown adult can weigh between 500 and 750 kilograms. Its bite force reaches up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, enough to drag an adult zebra underwater in just a few seconds. In the murky water, the Nile crocodile is nearly invisible. This is not merely hiding. It is a perfect attack design refined over hundreds of millions of years of evolution. The Mara River's current this season reaches 3 to 5 meters per second, enough to sweep away any foal that loses its footing, even without a predator present. The riverbed is covered in slippery rocks. One misplaced step is all it takes. The current and the rocky bottom are the first threats the foal must face before the crocodiles. The lead animal steps into the water. Thousands follow, not out of courage, but because the pressure of the herd leaves no other choice. The foal hesitates at the water's edge. The cold water touches its front hooves, a completely new sensation. No memory exists to make it feel familiar. The mother zebra turns her head back, the clearest signal of all, follow me. The foal steps in, not because it understands the danger, but because it cannot stay behind alone. The water rises to its belly. All 4 legs lose stability on the slippery rocks. The running reflex is triggered, but in water, speed no longer means anything. The foal begins to swim by reflex. Its muscles are not yet strong enough to fight the Mara River's current. Every second that passes, a portion of its energy is swept away. On this bank, hyenas are watching, and they are waiting. The smartest player in any hunt is not always the one who strikes first. The current pushes the foal 2 meters away from its mother. In ordinary circumstances, that distance means nothing. But here, 2 meters is the boundary between safety and danger. Beneath the surface, a crocodile, more than 4 meters long, begins to adjust its angle. No rush, no sound. It is calculating the approach angle and the right moment. The foal falls into a panic, the most dangerous mistake possible in water. Panic disrupts the swimming rhythm, drains energy, and pulls the body deeper beneath the surface. The mother senses it and turns back, breaking from the flow of the moving herd. Turning back means accepting a higher risk, going against the rules of survival. Underwater, a crocodile attacks the nearest adult, not the foal. It is a feint, creating chaos, to isolate the real target. A burst of water explodes. The zebra herd breaks formation, scattering in multiple directions. The foal loses its bearings. Its mother is no longer visible, only water and the sound of chaos. Instinct takes over. No more thinking, only reflex remains. And in those few brief seconds, everything is decided. The crocodile disappears back into the current after its strike. Not visible does not mean safe. In the Mara River, the most dangerous things are usually the ones that cannot be seen. Finally, the foal reaches a narrow strip of land in the middle of the river. It climbs up, gasping, all four legs trembling, but it is still standing. The mother has already reached the far bank. She calls out, the distinctive recognition call of the zebra. Amid the chaos, that is the only signal the foal needs. The second time it steps into the water, the foal no longer hesitates. Its mother's call has overridden the fear, an evolutionary mechanism that prioritizes connection over panic. The second half of the river holds no crocodiles. They have concentrated around the main herd. The foal does not know this. It swims in fear, and that very fear drives it to move faster. The far bank comes into view. It climbs up using every last bit of energy. No technique, no control, only the survival instinct. The mother stands still and waits. She does not move closer. In the language of zebras, standing still is an affirmation. I am here. You must come to me. The foal trembles, coat soaked through, breathing rapid. But it is standing beside its mother, on ground that just minutes before seemed completely out of reach. Not far away, another foal is not so fortunate. Separated from the herd early, it loses its bearings, swept downstream by the current. Its mother cannot find it again. Nature does not distinguish between right and wrong. Only different positions and different moments produce different outcomes. 1 meter in the wrong place is enough to change everything. The crocodile pulls its prey to the bottom, a behavior known as the death roll. No drama, no drawn-out struggle, only a mechanism, executed exactly as it was designed. The rest of the zebra herd continues up the bank, no stopping, no looking back. In herd survival, stopping means increasing the risk for all. The foal stands on this bank and looks back at the river. Its brain cannot process memories the way a human's does. But its body will remember, in the way that biology remembers. Instinct is not rewritten by thought, but by experience. Today's fear becomes tomorrow's reflex. That is how nature evolves every living creature. The foal will cross the Mara River many more times in its life. Each time, it steps in faster, more precisely. Survival is a skill learned through fear. In nature, there is no such thing as a safe childhood. To be born is to begin a series of trials. Instinct is not perfect. It must be sharpened through risk and fear. Across the Serengeti grassland, that cycle will continue, season after season, generation after generation. And the Mara River will remain, waiting for each new foal to step into the first test of its life. A cheetah runs up, lowering head, sniffing the small, motionless companion lying on grass. No response, only wind blowing through spotted fur and silence enveloping the grassland. In the distance, two yellow shadows remain there, one individual bearing full injuries. On the plains, no victory is priceless. 2 hours earlier, early sun just touched Masai Mara grassland, and wildlife's rhythm began awakening. Under acacia canopy, a cheetah group rests with cubs. This is Zuri's family, one of Masai Mara's largest coalitions. Cheetahs are the planet's fastest big cat, speed reaching over 100 kilometers per hour. But in exchange is slender body and weak bite force, creating disadvantage in direct confrontation. Therefore, cheetahs typically form sibling coalitions, hunting and defending territory together. And Zuri's family has many adults, a rare number, strong enough to control wide territory. But even that coalition cannot protect cubs continuously. Individuals under 6 months still have high mortality rate from lions, hyenas, and birds of prey. This morning, 3 adult males left the group hunting, leaving females to protect 2 cubs, force reduced and risk immediately increased. 2 cheetah cubs are playing with rabbit carcass. Mother brought this morning, pulling, shaking, and pouncing each other. They play about 30 meters from acacia, completely losing vigilance. On empty grassland, distance becomes weakness. Group lies under tree canopy, leaving 2 cubs exposed within perfect range for opportunists. To the east, about 200 meters away in tall grass, a solitary lioness on patrol has detected movement. It lowers body, focusing completely on 2 separated cheetah cubs. Lions don't hunt cheetahs for food, but to eliminate competing rivals. This behavior is common, helping reduce future resource pressure. Distance gradually closes. Lioness creeps low, nearly invisible, while 2 cheetah cubs still play absorbed, not yet experienced enough to recognize threat. 20 meters. Lioness compresses muscles. Hind legs press earth. Under tree canopy, an adult cheetah raises head, scenting danger, but already too late. Lioness bursts into speed, 140 kilograms charging through low grass. 2 cheetah cubs panic, running 2 directions, but legs not fast enough. One immediately caught in lioness's jaws. Remaining cheetah cub rushes toward 2 adults. Caught individualized still. No response. As lioness stops and turns, head facing charging group. Lioness doesn't retreat. It moves, holding cheetah cub like living shield, facing adult individuals growling with message. Advance further, cub will pay price. 2 adult cheetahs advance few steps, then stop. They recognize the stalemate, when mass difference makes direct confrontation nearly hopeless. But cheetahs don't fight with strength, but with tactics, continuously distracting and dividing pressure from 2 sides to lock lioness's reaction rhythm. Harassment tactics begin. One advances forward, growling, drawing attention. Others circle behind, exploiting blind spot, forcing lioness to spin, continuously defending. Lioness gradually loses control, simultaneously holding prey in jaws while defending two sides, cannot roar or counterattack, locked in disadvantageous position. One from behind lunges, clawing Lioness's flank, then immediately retreats. Lioness whips around, but Gap has shifted direction while another continues closing in. After many minutes of harassment, Lioness gradually exhausts from continuous spinning, jaws tired from holding prey, and calmness replaced by rage. And that's what cheetahs are waiting for. When Lioness loses control, it must attack and release jaws, self-opening the mistake tactics aim for. Cheetah from behind lunges again, clawing deep into Lioness's back, wounded through fur layer. Lioness roars, turns body in rage, and moment jaws open, cheetah cub falls. Lioness doesn't release from mercy, but because counterattack instinct overwhelms holding prey, immediately shifting to direct confrontation. An adult cheetah rushes to where cub just fell, lowers checking, but small body no longer responds, completely motionless. And that moment changes everything. It carries cub's body away. Eyes go cold, pack instinct fully activated. Right then, 3 adult cheetahs hunting return, abandoning prey immediately and charging straight back to group. Adult individuals converge, completing formation. First time Lioness faces entire coalition. Cheetah group surrounds completely, eyes unblinking, bodies lowered. Force balance tilts decisively, and Lioness recognizes this. Tactics upgrade. They take turns moving, forcing Lioness to continuously spin left, right, behind, but every direction blocked, making encirclement increasingly tight. Attack strikes begin intensifying. Each one lunges clawing, then withdraws immediately. Not fatal, but eroding stamina through each defensive spin rhythm. Lioness roars and counterattacks, but misses. Each lunge makes it lose more strength, while opponents always stay out of reach. 10 minutes pass. Lioness gradually slows, swipes weaker, body turns heavier, and distance compressed from 5 meters down to 2. Encirclement tightens each beat. Claw marks thicken across body, not fatal, but enough to gradually drain strength. First time, Lioness lowers center of gravity, shifting to defensive stance. Cheetah group recognizes the change. When the strong begin defending, battle has reversed. Attack rhythm increases, pressure pushed even higher. But battle will stop there. On Masai Mara, no creature is completely alone, and Lioness is no exception. Earlier roar has echoed farther than Cheetah group's calls. Ground trembles slightly. From the east, a deep, heavy roar tears through plains, bringing massive yellow shadow charging, dark black mane, rippling muscles, answering the call and advancing straight into battle. Cheetah group immediately flees in unison. Balance completely shifts. What they dared do against exhausted Lioness, one Mise, cannot apply before 2 powerful hunters. Male lion stands beside mate, not roaring, not pursuing, only silently staring straight at cheetah group, and that presence enough to close the battle. Cheetah group backs away. No more attacking. No more encircling. When coalition faces coalition, they nag. They cannot defeat two lions. Afternoon sun descends on Masai Mara. Male lion lies licking wounds for lioness. Claw marks will heal, but lesson remains. The strong can still be eroded by numbers. And cheetahs also carry their own lesson. Coalition can erode solitary lioness, but cannot win when male lion appears. Each survival layer has limits. On this vast plain, conflict between lions and cheetahs occurs nearly daily, an arms race lasting millions of years. But today is exceptional. Rarely do cheetahs dare ambush, pressing lion into defense. Zuri's family transcended instinct, attacking the stronger. Price of ambush clear on both sides. Lioness weakened, requiring rescue. Cheetah group lost cub, a future link in Zuri's family, never given chance to mature. In nature, all behavior aligns with survival instinct. Lions eliminate potential rivals, while cheetahs protect next generation. No good or evil exists, only selection and consequence. Abandoned cub carcass will quickly attract vultures, insects, and microorganisms, initiating decomposition process, an essential link in nutrient cycle. Zuri's family begins stabilizing. Adult individual surrounding, cub at center, shielded, minimizing separation risk to maximum. Two lions still there. Lioness rests lying down. Male stands guard beside. They'll return to territory tomorrow morning and continue patrol. At conflict point, grass gradually stands back up. Blood seeps into earth, first scattered by wind. By tomorrow morning, traces will nearly vanish, only a few strands remaining. Survival on plains is problem without answer. Strength beats numbers. Numbers beat individual, then coalition defeated by larger coalition. Somewhere on Masai Mara tonight, Zuri's family will lie close together under starry sky. Entire group will surround remaining cub in defensive formation. Evening wind blows across Masai Mara, carrying scent of wet grass and earth dust. Claw marks on lioness's back have dried, while cheetah cub carcass gradually covered by ants, all traces fading with time. But lesson not erased. Lioness becomes more cautious when facing large cheetah groups, while Zuri's group keeps cubs close to formation, each side accumulating experience from their own scars. As last light leaves Masai Mara, plains sink into invisible sounds, where just 1 second of carelessness can trade for irretrievable loss. The price for those who start conflict sometimes is those who must pay most dearly. Sand surface temperature has exceeded 60 degrees. Air bent, turning everything distant into mirages flowing blurred on the horizon. Yellow scorpion seeks shade, nestling into rock crevice to avoid sun. Outside, under high-temperature rocks begin cracking from thermal expansion. Heat presses down on Sonoran like invisible weight. Owl hides in tree trunk, avoiding sun. Under thornbush, jackrabbit presses flat to ground, dilating blood vessels in ears to radiate heat. But beneath scorching sand layer, ground surface shifts slightly. Horned lizard emerges, dusting sand with transparent eyelids before stepping into heat level. All other species are avoiding. It possesses osteoderm armor layer, helping adapt to harsh heat. Red ants crawl across nose and head spikes, while its body not yet warm enough to react. Tongue flicks out extremely fast, rolling up each ant, then swallowing whole. On dessert, energy-conserving hunting strategy, more important than pursuit speed. Horned lizard walks, and at cholla bush edge, another movement appears. Small burrow entrance stirs. Two long whiskers poke out, sensing ground vibrations. Desert mouse stands motionless before burrow entrance, only ears continuously rotating, detecting sounds. After seconds of vigilance, it finally steps into dangerous open space. Long hind legs help it leap far and change direction instantly. It dashes between mesquite bushes, exposing itself on bare sand surface. It's searching for seeds, but never losing vigilance about surrounding environment. For desert rodents, danger typically comes from above. Above, two golden eagles glide on thermal currents, barely needing to flap wings. They've appeared since ground began absorbing heat. With vision 8 times human, plus talons creating grip force over 2,800 pounds per square inch. Golden eagle has locked tight on small brown dot between two bushes right when it left burrow. Eagle tilts wings, adjusting descent trajectory, calculating wind and prey's running direction. Wrong angle causes failure and wastes energy on dessert. On ground, mouse detects round shadow advancing on sand, immediately flees, changing direction, lunging toward a rock maze instead of running straight to familiar burrow. Eagle talons stab into sand where mouse just stood. It watches prey. Mouse continues running, carrying first trace, opening hunting signal. Mouse rushes into maze of stacked granite rocks, making eagle unable to approach. Shade reduces heat significantly, but this terrain is also shelter for other predator species. Rock rattlesnake has necrotic venom. Thanks to heat pit, it detects mouse through very small temperature difference before seeing and begins rattling tail. Mouse freezes. Ahead is snake. Behind is eagle. But instead of panicking, it calculates escape chance when snake strikes and misses, needing about 3 seconds to coil back. Opportunity will open. Mouse creates vibration, stimulating snake to strike first. When strike lunges forward, it leaps sideways, then passes through narrow gap in very short time. Right then, eagle lunges into rock gap following mouse direction. Large movement brings it into defense reflex range of agitated snake. Snake launches second strike. Fangs only graze eagle's chest feathers, forcing predator to spring back out, yielding rock maze to true owner. Mouse escapes maze from west side. It breathes heavily, legs beginning to feel heavy. Ahead is bare sand plain, but behind is pursuing eagle. Two eagles coordinate above. One forces direction, the other waits ready at strike angle, creating pincer position, leading mouse right into attack trajectory. Cactus branch makes it slip slightly, but it still struggles to keep running, driven into talon range, diving down from about 30 meters height. Just as the talons were about to make contact, the mouse spotted the hollow skull. Its hind legs kicked off, and it changed direction, diving straight in and vanishing as the talons snapped shut over the top of the cranium. The skull creates a natural shelter. The narrow eye sockets prevent the eagle's beak from reaching deep inside, while the bone layer keeps the temperature significantly lower than the open sand. Eagle perches on skull, continuously pecking into open gaps, but mouse still lies deep inside skull cavity. Tug of war between desert's strongest and hollow skull begins. 5 minutes. Sun scorches sand surface, but skull remains cool thanks to heat reflection and light convection. Meanwhile, eagle must continuously shift feet to force mouse to run out. After 10 minutes, one perched on cactus begins losing patience, scanning for other targets, while the other pecks one last time, but still powerless before skull. Finally, eagles fly away in turn, abandoning energy-draining hunt, leaving skull in desert midst with mouse still alive inside. Mouse pokes whiskers from eye socket checking vibrations and shadows on sand, then crawls out, dusts sand from fur, and runs to nearest burrow. Escape ends. By reflexes faster than eagle talons, body twist making snake miss strike, and a hollow skull lying right where no one expected. Eagles have ascended high again, and eyes still scanning. From afar, they detect new movement racing fast among cactus bushes. Zebra-tailed lizard, running at 30 kilometers per hour speed, black-white stripes bobbing. Being pursued by collared lizard, specialist eating smaller kindred, chasing behind. Collared lizard, with large head and powerful jaw force, completely focused on prey ahead, not at all recognizing predator shadow marked on sand. Zebra-tailed lizard dives underground. Pursuer behind stops in open area. It halts observing but doesn't see prey anywhere. Above, eagle has locked target early, waiting for exact moment lizard stops in open ground to dive from most advantageous attack angle. Collared lizard hears wind whistle behind, but reacts slowly. Body too hot after chase making legs lose half speed. 2 meters become unreachable distance. Eagle talons clamp tight around lizard body and lift it from sand surface. Amid open space with no rock gaps or shelter, all escape chances vanish. Eagle carries prey flying to nest on large cactus tree, while zebra-tailed lizard silently stays under sand, surviving by being faster than what once hunted it. Eagle perches on cactus tree feeding its young. Lost small mouse but gained larger prey instead. Enough one meal for its offspring. Desert food chain continues operating. Seeds feed mouse, insects feed lizard, lizard feeds eagle. Then decomposing carcass returns nutrients to soil and plants. Horned lizard lies pressed on warm rock after eating enough ants. Bone armor layer protects body, while blood squirting ability helps drive away many predator species. In cool burrow, mouse is moving, thanks to extremely efficient water concentrating kidney system, helping it live almost without needing to drink water amid arid desert. Rattlesnake still coiled. Slow metabolism helps it fast many days. Waiting for temperature to drop, then begins night hunting with heat pit. Dusk touches Sonoran. Sunlight gradually shifts to orange-red, while desert rocks begin radiating heat, absorbed throughout the long day. Desert changes shifts. Horned lizard prepares to bury itself in sand. Eagle stops hunting. Scorpion leaves rock crevice, and mouse pokes whiskers out burrow entrance again. Now is safest time. Rattlesnake crawls from maze, continuously flicking tongue and scanning heat. Where once was daytime shelter, now becomes nighttime hunting ground. Sonoran Desert spans over 300,000 square kilometers. With extreme temperature range, creatures here must adapt to daytime heat or nighttime cold to survive. Each species carries unique survival strategy, but all adaptations have limits. No one is perfect, only the most suitable.